Marvel Studios has just released its first film of 2025, and this might be the one that has the fans the most divided about whether or not to watch it in the theaters. Captain America Brave New World premieres this week, and it almost has an obligation to keep up the momentum created by Deadpool and Wolverine in this new phase of the MCU. Not only does it need to engage the audience enough to avoid the usual Marvel is dead comments, but it also has to lay the groundwork for the upcoming Avengers movie. But with all the production issues the movie faced, and on top of that, the passing of the torch from Steve Rogers to Sam Wilson, something that still divides the fans, will this film be worth it of the ticket? Let's dive into this spoiler-free review of the movie. Hello everyone, welcome to Luso. I'm Paulo, and it's clear that the new Captain America movie hasn't had an easy road. During production, there were several reshoots, and reportedly parts of the script were rewritten, and we can feel that a little bit throughout the movie. However, in my opinion, this film is good. Marvel is trying to capture the essence of the Winter Soldier movie with this film, and in some moments they succeed, even borrowing certain elements from the Captain America the Winter Soldier. The movie's overall vibe is very similar to that one. However, the story quality doesn't quite reach the same level. With that said, I still think it's much better than what we have seen in the recent Marvel movies, and there is a noticeable reduction in the cringe moments that we see on the big screen. And at the same time, the film puts more focus on the plot and the action scenes, something Marvel had lost sight in the recent movies. There were too many jokes and not enough focus on the story being told. One thing I really enjoy about this film is that it concentrates on its own story rather than constantly revolving about the wider MCU. It touches on essential elements of the MCU lore, but doesn't discard its own narrative just to serve a bigger storyline. It also follows the same theme as the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series, with Sam Wilson now trying to carry the mantle left by Steve Rogers. It's not a straight up repeat of what happened in the series, because that will be stupid, right? But it offers enough context for those who haven't watched it, and I really think Marvel knows a lot of people didn't watch the series. The film includes certain points that acknowledge many people who never saw the series, but it's not entirely necessary to watch it beforehand. In the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series, we were introduced to Isaiah Bradley, the forgotten Captain America, and Sam's new suit, which in this movie is no longer new. As you might guess it, he switches the suit throughout the movie. Another interesting point is that the film finally acknowledged the Celestial in the Pacific Ocean, the Timot. However, even though much of the film actions happens at the sea, they barely touch on the Celestial at all. We have been waiting for an explanation about what they will do with the Celestial since the Eternals, but the plot of this film still moves forward without elaborating much on that. It's there in the background, it's mentioned briefly, but not much else. It's kinda the start point to the plot of the movie and stops there. What is interesting are the references they make, especially regarding a certain metal that the Celestial leaves behind. I won't reveal which metal, but if you have seen the trailers, you might already have an idea. This could be the central point to the future of the MCU, including a new superheroes, but I will leave it at that. Another major highlight is the Harrison Ford performance as Thunderbolt Ross. It's really interesting to see how good he is in this role, and he's full committed to it and also delivers his best. Funny enough, he seemed to have much more fun in the press conference for this movie than he ever did for Star Wars. Either he enjoys superhero movies a lot more, or he really hates Star Wars, like has been saying for years. Now, regarding Red Hulk, it was a bit underwhelming. The action scenes are amazing, and they made me wish that we had Bruce Banner's Monsters Hulk back instead of Professor Hulk, and I think we all agree on that. We kinda are tired of him, right? The CGI for the Red Hulk is spot on, and imagine the 2008 Hulk movie, but with a lot more graphics. The biggest debate for me, though, was the villain. Captain America 4 brings back the leader, Samuel Stearns, who was first introduced in 2008, the Incredible Hulk, and in the end of that movie, we saw Bruce Banner's blood dripping on his head, which led to his transformation into the leader. In this movie, he is the mastermind behind the conflicts between America and the rest of the world. However, this is where you can really see the impact of the reshoots on this movie. Up until the third act, the movie is fantastic, but then things start to feel rushed, and the villain ends up falling short of what was set in the first hour and a half. Another issue I have is the film's ending. You can clearly tell which parts were reshot based on the lighting and other details, and it feels like a big chunk of what was originally planned was cut, and that affects the final scenes. Also, there are scenes in the trailer, the first one, that we don't see in this movie, which in my view, the first trailer show us that we would get a much darker ending to this movie. However, that didn't happen. I don't know if the original version would have been better or worse, but it's obvious that something was altered. That said, this is another Marvel Studios film that doesn't push the overall MCU story for too much, but it does bring back what was missing, in my view, a standalone movie narratives rather than just setting up future crossovers. It's funny because considering this is Captain America 4, with the legacy of one of the MCU's best trilogies, probably the second best after Guardians of the Galaxy. You can fight me on the comments if you want, but I did not expect this movie to feel like a sequel to The Incredible Hulk, because a lot of the plot they show us, it's tied to the Hulk from 2008, which is kinda surprising. If you like that movie, you will appreciate some elements in this one. For those wondering if there is anything about the next Avengers movie, like in a post-credit scene, nope, there is nothing. In reality, there is only one post-credit scene, and it comes at the very end, and it gives a small hint of what's coming, but nothing major. So if you don't want to sit to the credits, you don't miss much. I think Marvel has finally learned from the mistakes of Phase 4 and 5. They overload post-credit scenes with setups for projects that never materialized. And yes, I'm looking at you, Eternals, because I needed to play the movie already. And then Midnight Suns. But now I'm rambling because I love Midnight Suns, so tell me if you love them too.
There's only been one blade. There's only ever gonna be one blade.
With all that said, I think the movie it's worth of the ticket, despite the theatre raising prices again this year. I don't know if that happened in your country, but here in Portugal they up the price again. So, and my salary is very short, and I love to go to the movies. So please stop the race. Okay, I guess I'll have to eat a few popcorns, right? But in the series, not now. The movie is really fun, and I think it's worth watching in the theaters, just for the spectacle of a Hulk going wild. And of course, all the action scenes with Captain America and Falcon 2.0, the scales of those fights, especially with the Tiamat looming in the background in the Pacific Ocean, it's really interesting. If I had to rate this movie, I'll give it a 3.5 stars out of 5. I think Marvel is finally heading back in the right direction. They are focused more on quality over quantity, and it's starting to show. Last year we had Deadpool and Wolverine as the only movie of the year, and this year we have 3 movies toward late to 2025. Up next is Thunderbolts, which has a small reference in this movie, followed by Fantastic Four, the Marvel movie I'm most excited for this year. As for the series, we have Daredevil Born Again coming up in March, which is probably my most anticipated project of the year. Then there's Ironheart and Wonder Man, but no one seems to be talking about that. I think Marvel is finally back on the track, and the future is looking bright. Maybe not Doomsday level hype, but we'll see how things go with that movie and the end of the multiverse with Secret Wars, because clearly the multiverse isn't working, so better end it. Now I want to read your thoughts. Have you seen the movie? And I'm curious about what you think of it. Let me know in the comments below. I'll release a full spoiler review later, breaking down the ending and the post-credit scenes, so if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, leave a like and share with Marvel heads. Thanks for watching Luso, I'm Paulo, and I'll see you in the next one.